Hi there, Diecast fans. What we have here is an Audi R8 GT in 1:18 scale by Maisto. This is based on the first generation of the R8s introducing in 2008 after the R8 original version with the V8 engine. And then after that, they had one of these, the V10, having a V10 engine with a dark alloy rims and additional carbon fiber spoiler, and of course an increased horsepower because this is a track day or track version of the R8. Now this is Audi's definition, or there's one song, how do they make a supercar with a powerful engine and a smart quattro drivetrain. And for the enthusiasts, they know this is going to be the base platform for the baby Lamborghini, the Lamborghini Gallardo. Now, Maisto offered the R8 GT as a premier edition. For me, it's the additional effort edition, or the more painted parts edition of their diecast lineup. So, let's take a peek first on the exterior quality of this diecast. Now, moving along on the front side, let's go to the headlights first. Now, this is the grille, the trapezoid iconic grille of the Audis. Most Audi had this grille back in, let's say, 10 years ago. So you can see the projector lights right there, made entirely out of chrome, but there's no peg, so that's very decent. Painted grille, that's not black, that's actually silver gray metallic, so that's additional effort by Maisto right there. No, there's no screen right there, it's just a texturized or embossed plastic right there with additional paints on it. European plates, of course, the Quattro badge that you can see there on the grille, and the right headlight right there. It really looks good for a budget model. And you can see the Audi logo there. That's a tampo, not a decal, so cleaning this diecast is going to be a breeze with no hassle at all. And let's not forget the frunk itself. So Maisto did a very fantastic job making this clamshell type front lid. So if you open the front light right here, the front, so you could see just a big plastic slab on it, but it's accurately detailed as expected onto the Audi R8 during its time. So there's no, it's almost that it's floating because of the hinges right there is stuck on the A-pillar right there. So for me, a very amazing and clever detail by Maisto. Now the wheels, the quintessential how the diecast is going to look, it will dictate how really good the wheels are, in my opinion. So there you go, no brand name on the tires, but they are they have these tire treads on it. The alloy rims, the same silver metallic finish right there, and the disc brakes, and the caliper and the disc rotor. This rotor doesn't move along with the wheels, but still very nice. Now moving along to the side profile of this diecast, and as you can see, there's gonna be lots of texturized carbon fiber onto this diecast model. The side mirror, the enormous B-pillar with the air cowl on it, air induction, I think. It's also a texturized carbon fiber. Also, let's not forget the rear wings right there. Also a texturized carbon fiber, of course made out of plastic, but still very decent and convincing. Now, going to the rear part of the diecast, you can see the rear wheels right there with the brake caliper and the rotor disc. Of course, Maisto didn't forget that this had a staggered wheel size, narrow wheels on the front, wider tires at the back. So a very good effort by Maisto right there. And the plastic parts, of course, painted with aluminum gray silver on it with the metallic finish. And you can also see the tail lamp right there. Now, it's supposed to be a smoked version of the tail lamps, I think. They could have made an additional effort with the tail lamps with the transparent plastic parts on it, but they just painted this with a cherry red paint on the brake lights, and then slap on a clear acrylic lens on it, and they call it a day. But still looks an Audi R8 tail lamp right there. Could have made an additional effort. And you can see the Audi logo right there, not a decal, it's a painted one, so cleaning this diecast is not going to be a hassle again. European license plate, the exhaust tip right there, on a dark plastic shade there, and of course the diffuser with an additional, I think an additional brake lights right there. To the engine bay, now it really looks nice right there on the outside. And let me just point this cheapening method by Maisto. Yes, that is a painted third brake light right there on the roof. Typical Maisto move, if you ask me. Now, if it looks good on the outside, wait till you see on the inside. And wow, that effort made by Maisto with an additional paint on the engine bay really works right there on the air intake right there, on the, I think that is going to be a plastic parts for the engine bay with a carbon fiber texture on it, the pipings, and of course this is a complicated engines with lots of plumbing, so they covered it up with beauty plastic covers on it. To the interior of this diecast, now they're not going to call this a premium edition for nothing, so it's expected it's going to have a well-detailed interior. So let's open the door. The door really opens very nice since they stopped using the dogleg hinges and started using these flat metal springs on it, so it opens in a accurate form. At the same time, it aligns to the body instantly without breaking anything. So you could see the steering wheel, the gauges. The gauges are on a having only the stickers on it, but still very looks convincing. And of course you could see the door seal right there. It says R8 GT, and it's also got an R8 floor mats right there. So moving to the center console right there. So that's it. I think this is going to be the difference between the special and the premier edition, and also they had the another exclusive edition or higher edition besides the premier. But then again, of course, this is a low budget diecast. For me, it still looks amazing, and you can also see, although it's a little bit exaggerated on the size and a little bit big, the shift knob right there. Since this is an R8 GT that is track ready or track focus supercar, it definitely needs a racing bucket seats and racing harness. Now you could also see the supplier or the manufacturer of the racing harness right there. Now, since this is a budget model, there's not going to be an additional effort towards the texture of the racing harness right there, with the buckles and the metal parts on it, and of course the fabric texture of the harness. But still, it's got a very decent racing harness right there. And you can also see on the rear there's a roll cage right there. Now this is kind of a strange for a roll cage, since it doesn't wrap around the entire interior of the car, just the rear part right after the racing seats right there. And that's not painted, that's just the natural color of the plastic, but still very decent detail by Maisto. Now to the right side interior of the car, you could see the R8 floor mats right there, the door seal that has an R8 GT badge on it, and you can see the center console with the GPS, I think. There goes the shift knob right there, and some dials with paint, with additional paints on it, since this is a premier edition. So you could see right there again the handbrake and the center console addition with a secondary silver paint on it, and the dashboard with a texturized carbon fiber on it with additional I think that's a plastic or a leather simulation of the dashboard. Yet really looks good. Now about this diecast, it really looks great. It looks fantastic for its price. It's a premier edition with an additional detailing on it. Now, among the positive sides that I just mentioned, there are gonna be some issues right here, and one of those issues really annoys me when I try to take a picture on this. So you can see right there on the rear wheels, it's quite tucked inside right there on the wheel well. It looks like the diecast had some broken parts on it, but that's the way they manufactured this diecast. So it really annoys me when I try to get a good shots or good pictures or good angles onto this diecast right here. That's the only issue that I can pinpoint. It's just me, or it's going to be fine with some other collectors right there. The finish is fantastic with the glossy metallic paint finish on it. With, I think, if you can see there, there's a additional hue of blue color on it. And like some other Maisto diecast, there gonna be some additional paint rashes on it. Now I cannot show you into this camera since it's very minute, but time will tell if those paint rash will grow, and I hope it doesn't. So, supercar collectors of the modern age, or just a avid fan of the Audis, or just a fan of the Maisto that wants the best Maisto diecast that they can offer, this is a must. Look no further for any diecast made by Maisto. This is a very well detailed and very fine reproduction in 1:18 scale of an R8 GT. Guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this entertains you and informs you as well. And thank you, and have a nice day.